I'm D Allen, and this is Life Lesson Sports. Y'all, I'm going to tell you, Shedeur Sanders is getting ready to have a legendary sophomore season in the NFL with the Cleveland Browns. Recently, the Cleveland Browns hired Todd Monken as the new head coach. And I must admit, when I first heard the news of that, I was like, why they hire him? I thought they were going to hire the younger guy, Shieldhouse from the LA Rams. You know, he was a former quarterback with the University of Illinois. And, you know, that's why you can't get caught up in the excitement and get caught up in things that other people are saying and information. You can't get caught up in none of that. You have to pay attention to the little details. See, that's why Shedeur Sanders, throughout his high school and college career, his dad, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, has taught him to pay attention to the details. I used to coach football with a former NFL player, played with the Chicago Bears back in the day. And he used to always talk about taking care of the little details, because the little details are so important, not only in football, but in life in general. We have to pay attention to the little details. And so leading up and going through this whole off season, they fired the head coach, Cleveland Browns did, and now a new coaching search is on. I don't even know if I ever paid attention to the little details that Coach Monken was even interviewing. When they said that they hired him, I was like, where'd he come from? I hadn't even saw or heard of reports about him. His name never seemed to stand out. So when I heard it, I'm like, Monken, why would they hire him for? But the more and more I looked into it and paid attention, see, the whole 5th round slide thing, and I won't rehash all of that with Shedeur Sanders coming out of college and, you know, all of those things that occurred, you know, during the draft. And he ended up getting drafted in the 5th round. It was just like, well, I saw him continue to develop, to mature, to grow up. And I'm not saying he was like immature and you know, all of the foolish reports that were out there. I'm not saying that. But it changed him. That experience changed him. And I watched him, and I would listen to things even his former coach Stefanski would say about him. He's working. He's working. Look, I don't know what their relationship was, and if Coach Stefanski was good or bad for him, I don't really know. I'm not in the building. I'm not around. I don't know. So I won't even speak on that. But Shedeur didn't fold. He worked. He kept working. You know, the hungry dog sessions and, you know, studying film and locking in. You know, something else that I saw back then too is it became obvious to me, and I'm not in the building, I don't know, I'm not talking to nobody, that the GM, Andrew Berry, likes Shedeur as a player as well, and is supportive of him. And it seems now, coming full circle, Shedeur gets to play in 7 games, started 7 games. This past season played in 8 games. That is important towards his development and his ability to play quarterback in the NFL at a high level. Now, he threw for like 1,400 yards and, you know, 7 touchdowns, 10 picks, and, you know, his rating, you know, his percentage was in the, you know, mid 50s, 56% or whatever. Those are important reps. he finally got first team full-time reps and then got game action. That goes a long way in his development and his goals and the team's goals, So going into this season, and now they hire Monken. Okay, now it's starting to make a lot of sense. I didn't know. I don't recall Monken being the OC at Georgia when they won a couple national championships. He's on that coaching staff, and I knew Georgia was recruiting Shedeur out of high school, but I didn't know there was a connection with Monken at the time when Georgia was recruiting Shedeur out of high school. And so now that's making sense. There's some previous relationships. Football is so relationship based. And so now, I'm seeing that. Okay, that has occurred. And then, Monken was with the Baltimore Ravens, and they wanted to draft Shedeur. So I don't know what his part was in the decision of that organization wanting to draft Shedeur Sanders, but it seems like he had some involvement in it for him to come out when they meet after he's been hired. Shedeur's back in the country, and the two meet, and the Browns organization records the interaction and the conversation. He's like, "Hey, we wanted to draft you, but hey, now I'm here. Now it's all working out." That is speaking volumes to me. And you got some folks in the media and just other folks trying to downplay it. Oh, that don't mean nothing. And, Deshaun Watson and he's going to be the starter and so forth and so on. See, I believe, hey, the writing is on the wall in terms of who's going to be the starting quarterback. Shedeur said it last year. He said, okay, now when he started, when he was named the starter and now he's getting the first team reps, he said something to the effect of, okay, now a full season, and that was, in case you heard something, that was my brakes releasing. It made a noise, so it wasn't me. Anyway, so now he had said, a full off season of prep, mini camp, OTAs, training camp, and I'm getting all the reps. Oh, that can get ugly. Now we talking. That wasn't exactly what he said, but just, paraphrasing or whatever. So now you've got Coach Monken in the building. I wouldn't be surprised if he just named Shedeur Sanders the starting quarterback. Yeah, and it's not a thing of giving it to him. Shedeur has practiced now with the first team. He's been in games. He's been in meetings. They know who he is now. They know what his work ethic is now. So it's not a sense of anybody giving him anything. If anything, he's taken it. He took it the moment the Cleveland Browns decided to draft him in the 5th round. He didn't get all in his feelings, and he put his head down and said, you know what? I'm happy that they drafted me. Now I'm going in. Now none of that even matters anymore. I'm just going in now. I'm going to make this team, and I'm going to prove to them that I'm the person. He said it before the Raiders game. He said, I'm who they've been looking for, and he's proven it. I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Monken and that organization named Shedeur Sanders the starting quarterback right away. So there's no confusion about it. There's no nothing. Hey, this is what we're doing, and this is the direction that we're going. A lot of people out there saying a lot of things about Shedeur Sanders' season and his ability to play the game. A lot of them are people just with opinions, like my own. I have my own opinion too. And a lot of times, some of them are even people that has just never even played sports before at any level, not even on the little league level. And they're just speaking and saying things, and maybe that's part of the media's strategy. You have some folks over here going to say supportive things, and intentionally the plan is these folks over here are going to continue to say negative things or discouraging things, and that's just the plan and the strategy of that media company, because unless they own their own platforms, they're being controlled in terms, to a certain level, to a certain extent, on what they can say and what they can't say. So that may just be all that it is at the end of the day. But Shedeur Sanders is getting ready to have a legendary season. I'm looking at the quarterbacks now coming out and all of the names that they was throwing out there. Oh, Cleveland's quarterback is in the 2026 class. Well, we all see how that class turned out. And even the Heisman winner, and I like Mendoza, so I'm not talking down or against Mendoza. Mendoza's stats wasn't like Shedeur's. Now Mendoza's team went 16-0 and won the national championship. So, I like Mendoza. I like how he plays, and we'll see what he does once he gets in the NFL. But even in that, I don't even think he threw for 4,000 yards. Shedeur threw for over 4,000 yards his senior year in college, and his completion percentage was over 70%. And he threw a bunch of touchdowns, and he didn't throw a lot of interceptions. I think his senior year he might have threw 10 interceptions or something. So we are getting ready to see Shedeur Sanders being legendary. I told y'all before, he gonna make that organization say legendary. They may not say it intentionally, or maybe they will. They may just say, you know what, we gonna jump onto this money train, because that's what he is. Shedeur Sanders not only can play the game of football, that young man is a money train. So they might want to jump in on that and get some of that with all these jersey sales and people buying the NFL package just so they can see Shedeur Sanders play. They ain't never paid no attention or thought about the Cleveland Browns. And now folks is tuning in, paying extra on they YouTube bill or whatever to be able to watch the Cleveland Browns season. And yours truly, I'm guilty of it too. I did it. I ain't never paid no attention to the Browns really before Shedeur Sanders got there, and I'm not the only one. So I just wanted to come on today. Shedeur Sanders, this upcoming season, will be legendary. This is D. Allen with Life Lesson Sports.